Hi. So let's today focus on policy-based forwarding advanced option, right? In the LAB 9.4, we learn about the how to configure the policy-based forwarding at the very basic level, right? Now, what is our requirement? My requirement is to route the LAN traffic via ISP-A and DMZ traffic via ISP-B, right? But what if my WAN A or ISP A go down, my PBF automatically failure on ISP B. So we have to configure the not the only 2 PBF, 4 PBF. Number 1 PBF, right? LAN to ISP A, right? Another PBF, LAN to ISP B, and in the PBF number 1 we have to enable the monitoring, right? We have to enable the monitoring. And what we will monitor? We will monitor the next hop address or any other address which is available in the ISP A. Okay, the same way we have to configure for the DMZ to ISP B, DMZ backup policy which is DMZ to ISP A. Okay, so let's go and configure the step by step. Okay, so let me open the firewall, go to the policy. Under policy you will see the option policy based forwarding, and here you have to configure the policy. Add policy. First, LAN to ISP A, source zone LAN, source address 10.10.10.0/24, destination address any, application is also any, and service any. Here you can specify the service HTTP, HTTPS or any other port number. Under forwarding, action forward, where to forward the traffic coming from the LAN, right? Forward towards egress interface Ethernet 1/1. Next hop, type IP address and IP address 100.64.1.2. Okay, click OK, right? Then configure one more policy, a policy based forwarding rule, LAN to ISP B backup. Okay, backup, LAN to ISP B backup. Then source is LAN, source address 10.10.10.0/24, destination any, application any, service port number any. Forward this traffic towards the Ethernet 1/2 which is ISP B interface. Next hop, IP address 100.77.7.2. Okay, you got my point? Okay, let's do one thing. Compare the policy. Okay, now here you go. This is my sequence number 1, where I have configured source zone LAN, source address 10.10.10.0/24. If destination is any, application any, service any, simply forward the traffic egress interface Ethernet 1/1 and handed over traffic to next hop 100.64.1.2. See here, right? Ethernet 1/1 egress interface, next hop 100.64.1.2. If ISP A link down or ISP A is not reachable, in that case we have configured the backup policy. In the backup policy, I have called or I have configured the same source zone as a LAN, same IP address, subnet mask 10.10.10.0/24, destination any, application any, service any, forward to Ethernet 1/2 and next hop 100.77.7.2. Guys, but tell me when this policy will get evaluated. If my first policy will get disabled, when my first policy will get disabled, how to disable the PBF, right? So we have to enable the monitoring, right? You have to enable the monitoring. Where you can configure the monitoring? Here you can configure the monitoring, right? And under monitoring you can monitor your next hop address and you can monitor the IP address of the service provider DNS in this example, right? If my next hop is unreachable and if this defined IP address is unreachable, right, disable this policy. There is an option, disable this rule if next hop address monitor IP address is unreachable. So what will happen? It will disable the policy. Once the PBF will get disabled, automatically it will evaluate rule number PBF rule number 2. Clear? Okay. So now configure the PBF rule here. Rule we have already configured, my bad. Under monitor, right, define the IP address 8.8.8.8. okay, and what is my profile? Let's see. Under profile, right, you have to configure the profile. What condition or what action you want to perform if the next hop IP address or the IP address you have mentioned as a monitor IP address is unreachable. Failover. What does it mean? Failover means failover to the PBF policy. If PBF policy is not there, go and look at the routing table. Okay. So my condition is fail over PBF. Fail over PBF. Okay. And now you have to check on disable this rule if next hop IP address or monitor IP address is unreachable. Click OK. Perfect. Yeah. So now you can see here, guys, you can see there is a profile I have configured failover and target 8.8.8 we are monitoring. By default, when you click on the monitor, it will by default monitor the next hop IP address, that is for sure. Along with the next hop, it will monitor the 8.8.8 as well. Okay. So click on the OK. Done. Then you have to go and configure the security rule as well. Okay, security rule, then add rule. Something is wrong. Wait. Okay, add rule here, internet access rule, source zone LAN, source zone DMZ, source address 10.10.10.0/24 and DMZ 10.10.20.0/24. Okay, destination zone should be ISP A and ISP B, right? We would require only one single policy, guys, by the way. Okay, application any and click on the OK. Right, this is my security rule. Other than security rule, we would require the NAT rule as well, right? So that what will happen when my PBF forward the traffic towards the ISP A, all the source should get NAT with my interface IP address 100.64.1.1. Similar way for the DMZ also we would require the NAT rule. Okay, clear? Perfect. Yeah. So go to the configuration, NAT policy, add policy. Okay, define the rule name, source NAT ISP A. Okay, general, source zone LAN, source zone DMZ. Why? For the failover. Destination zone ISP A, destination address Ethernet 1/1, source address 10.10.10.0/24. Okay, and then but then you have to define the 10.10.20.0/24, and then translation, dynamic IP and port interface. Select the interface Ethernet 1/1 and IP address 100.64.1.1. Now we would require one more policy, right, for the ISP B. Okay, add then SRC NAT ISP B original packet LAN, then again DMZ. Here you have to configure the destination zone as a ISP B, interface Ethernet 1/2, source address both 10.10.10.0/24 network, LAN network, as well as the DMZ network 10.10.20.0/24. Okay, if it is match, translate the packet with interface Ethernet 1/2 and IP address 100.77.7.1. These are the two policy. Okay, now whenever my LAN initiate the traffic, what will happen? PBF will forward traffic towards the ISP A. So in that case, source NAT ISP A rule will get evaluated, right? If my PBF fail, right, what will happen? PaloAlto will forward the LAN traffic towards the ISP B. In that case, rule number 2 will get evaluated. Why? Because in that case, your exit interface will be the different. Okay, we'll see, not now. Okay, so go ahead and commit the configuration. So far what we have configured, we have configured the PBF policy, we have configured the single security rule, and we have configured the 2 NAT statement. Okay, perfect. Yeah, commit successful. Okay, so let's go and check one more time. Right, ISP A, ISP B. So ISP A PBF and the backup PBF, right, for the LAN as well. Okay, go to the CLI and here show PBF rule all. See, you can see rule number 1, right, is active, right, and in the rule number 1 we are forwarding traffic towards the Ethernet 1/1, next stop 100.64.1.1, and currently the next stop status is up. Why it is up? Because we are monitoring. Okay, so do one thing, let's go and shut down the next stop address interface FA 0/0. Then what will happen? PaloAlto firewall unable to reach 100.64.1.2. So what will happen? It will disable the security PBF rule, right? And then next, what will happen? LAN traffic will forward towards the ISP B because of the PBF rule number 2, which is acting as a backup rule. Clear? Okay. So go to the your ISP router. Where is my ISP router? Yes, and enable show IP INT brief. Okay, and configuration terminal. Okay, configuration terminal, and then here go to the interface pass Ethernet 1/0. Okay, and command shutdown. Enter. Now I have shut down the interface. Okay, and now go and check the status. Wait, it will take time. So 100.64.1.2 is unreachable. Okay, yeah, 100.64.1.2 FA 0/1 is showing down. Let's go and check the status. Yes, it is showing down, right? So what happened? Rule is disabled, right? So now my rule number 1, PBF rule number is disabled. So for firewall only can see the rule number 2 to forward the LAN traffic. Now once you initiate the traffic, right, from the LAN, it will hit the rule number 2, right? Why? Because this rule number 1 is currently in a disabled state. So now it matches the rule number 2 and it will forward traffic towards the ISP B. Okay, so rule number 2 is a backup for rule number 1. but before evaluate the rule number 2, your rule number 1 should disable. And how we will disable it? With the help of monitor, okay, clear? Okay, so go and initiate the traffic from the endpoint. Okay, go to the LAN PC, right? Initiate some traffic. Okay, terminal ping 8.8.8.8. Yes, I am able to ping 8.8.8.8. Okay, then tracer 8.8.8.8. oh, trace trace 8.8.8.8. oh, fine. Okay, let's initiate only ping traffic 8.8.8.8. okay, then go to the CLI, GUI under monitor and see the traffic. Okay, so you can see the traffic, right? I can see the traffic. LAN source zone LAN A to zone ISP B. It means PBF forwarding traffic towards the ISP B. Ingress interface 1/3. Egress Ethernet 1/2, which is my ISP B interface. Do you want to check, guys? You can check. See, Ethernet 1/2 is my ISP B interface. Clear? Now do one thing, right? No shut this interface, right? So what will happen? Next stop is reachable for the PaloAlto firewall. Okay. So once the next stop is reachable, then what will happen? PBF rule number 1 will get activated again. Clear? Chalo. So go to the your router, ISP A router, and here enter. This is the interface currently we are in, right? Just type the no shutdown. Okay, so FA 1/0 is up now. Go to the security policy, not security policy, my bad. Go to the PaloAlto firewall, right, and execute the command show PBF rule all. See, guys, now you can see the rule is active. So what will happen? Looking at the PBF rule number 1, all the traffic coming from the LAN, by default it will get forward towards the next stop address 100.64.1.2, which is the ISP A. Okay, go and initiate the traffic from the machine. Ping 4.2.2.2. okay, I am able to ping, right? So go back to the firewall under monitor and look at the latest logs. Refresh your screen. Okay, now you can see, right? I have ping 4.2.2.2 from my LAN machine. So it is forward, the PBF forward traffic towards the egress interface Ethernet 1/1, which is my ISP A. Clear? So previously, when my interface was in ISP interface was down, in that case PBF got disabled. Why? Because of the monitoring. Okay, that in that case my firewall forwarded all traffic towards the ISP B. Now my ISP A restored. So what will happen? PBF rule number 1 got again activated. So now my firewall forwarding all traffic towards the ISP A again, right? So this is how similar way you have to configure it for the DMZ. Okay, same way for the DMZ. Go to the policy, PBF policy. Okay, add as policy. Where is the add button? Okay, something is wrong here. Okay, let me refresh the screen. I'm not able to see the add button. Okay, policy. Yeah, now I can see the add button. Add, and then DMZ. to ISP-B, right? This is my primary. Source DMZ, source address 10.10.20.0/24, destination any, service any, application any, forward traffic towards the Ethernet 1/2, next stop IP address 100.77.7.2, monitor the next stop IP address along with the 8.8.8.8, profile failover PBF, right? Okay, then this is my primary policy, right, for the DMZ. Let's configure the backup PBF for the DMZ. If my ISP B fail, DMZ traffic should fail over on the ISP A. Add then DMZ to ISP A backup policy. Okay, backup policy, or you can say only backup, right? No problem. Then source zone, again DMZ, source address 110.10.20.0/24, source user any, destination any, application any, service any, forward traffic towards the Ethernet 1/1, next stop IP address 100.64.1.2, right? Don't monitor anything, right? Because ultimately this policy will be in the sequence number 4. Okay, so first it's again PBF, sequential order until the match is made. If nothing is matched, go and evaluate the destination based routing in the virtual router. Okay, simple. Okay, again I will repeat, how does PBF work? Sequential order, then until the match is made. If nothing is matched, right, don't drop the packet, go and look at the destination based routing. Clear? Okay, commit the configuration, commit. Okay, commit successful. Now what happened, right? Whenever I will initiate the traffic from the DMZ, by default it will not by default, it will first forward traffic towards the ISP B because of the rule number 3. In the rule number 3, we are matching the DMZ zone, DMZ subnet, and forwarding traffic towards the 100.77.7.2. If this rule get disabled, why it will get disabled? If my ISP B next stop IP address is unreachable, in that case rule number 3 will get disabled and all the DMZ traffic will match on the rule number PBF rule number 4. Okay, then go to the ISP router 2. Oh, okay, ISP router 2, and I have to shut down the 100.77.7.2 interface. Okay, so let me check how to log in into the ISP router 2. Okay, ISP router 2 configuration terminal, enable show IP INT brief. You can see 100.77.7.2 configured on 2/0. Let's go and shut down 2/0 interface. Do one thing, guys. Before shut down this interface, let's first check, right, where your firewall forwarding the DMZ traffic. So go to the DMZ machine. Okay, and from the DMZ machine, let's go and initiate the traffic for 8.8.8.8. Okay, then go to your firewall, go to the monitor, refresh your screen and see the logs for the DMZ traffic. Yeah, see here, guys. Currently, right, all the traffic coming from the DMZ, it is by default forward towards the ISP B Ethernet 1/2. Clear? Now do one thing, shut down the ISP B. What will happen in that case? As soon as you shut down the ISP B, PBF rule number 3 will get disabled and all the traffic coming from the DMZ will evaluated by the PBF rule number 4. Clear? Okay. So go to the ISP B, right, and shut down the interface Ethernet 1/2 where we have a 100.77.7.2 IP address. Shut down. Go to your firewall, right? Up arrow and check the status. Terminal, clear logs, PBF. Okay. Okay. Wait. It is shut down. Yeah. 1/2 it is shut down. State. Wait. Yeah. Now what is happening over here? It is showing down. It is showing down. Rule number 3. But still it is active. Why it is active? Why it is active? I will tell you, right? Because you have not checked the option disable this policy if next stop monitoring IP address is unreachable. Clear? So next stop is unreachable. So do one thing, right, guys? Okay. Let's initiate the traffic from the DMZ machine. See, PaloAlto firewall dropping all the traffic. Why? Because of it is black hole. Why black hole? Because rule number 3, PBF rule number 3 is still active and it is forwarding and this, because of this rule, firewall forward all traffic coming from the DMZ towards the 177.2. No use. Go ahead and disable this rule. Okay, and commit the configuration. As soon as you disable it, select the option disable, it will disable the rule. Commit successful. Go. Yeah, now you can see the ping response, right? Okay, so go to the firewall, clear the terminal so that you can see it clearly. Now what is happened? My DMZ to ISP, which is PBF rule number 3, is next stop is down and my policy is disabled, right? If this policy is disabled, it means it will not evaluated by the PBF rule. So now all the DMZ traffic match under DMZ to ISP, which is rule ID 4. Here it is matching, right? And now what happened? It is because of this rule number 4, PBF rule number 4, it is forwarding all traffic towards ISP A 100.60.1.2. Do you want to see the logs? Okay, go to the monitor and see the logs. Okay, see, yeah, exactly. See, this is something I want to show you. Now, in this case, previously when my rule number 3 was activated, all the DMZ traffic firewall forwarded towards the ISP B. Now my rule number 3 is disabled because next stop monitor IP address is unreachable and we have check mark the option disable the rule. Now what happened? Same source, same destination, now firewall forwarding this traffic towards the ISP A. Clear, guys? So you have to, if you are configuring everything based on the PBF or you are forwarding all your traffic based on the PBF, guys, make sure you must have the backup policy. And when the PBF comes in the picture, when you have a 2 ISP link, right? If we have only one single link, no use of PBF. If you have a 2 link, then you can think about the load sharing. Okay, so the primary, let me quickly repeat. ISP A, which is rule number 1, where all the LAN traffic forward towards the ISP A, and under rule number 1 we are enable the monitoring and we are monitoring a next stop IP address, which is the ISP A address. If this IP address is unreachable, what will happen? PaloAlto firewall will automatically disable this rule. If this rule will get disabled, what will happen? LAN traffic, right, from the subnet 10.10.10.0/24 will evaluated by the rule number 2 and it will forward towards the ISP B as a backup. Clear, right? If you still have any doubt, please feel to reach out to me. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye, take care.